Hello and greetings from Walijka near Krakow in Poland once again. Just a really quick one this time. It's very dark in here though, so I'll just see if this makes a difference. Does it make a difference? Not much. Anyway, just wanted to say that this is now here. The Sympathy portal, the new LP on Lumberton Trading Company by Ka-Spel. Long overdue, lovingly put together artwork wise by Puppy38 again. Only a plain black paper inner. So there we are. So that arrived yesterday morning, today being Tuesday, and that arrived yesterday. So I started shipping orders yesterday. I'm without a car today, so I don't know if I'll be able to get to the post office or not. Although I don't have a lot of work on, so maybe I will at least make it there using public transport, namely a train. So that runs from a station quite near where I live and goes to a place 10 minutes walk away from the post office. So maybe I'll do another run later. But the problem there is that my daughter is off sick at the moment and has been since the middle of last week. So that's another thing I need to factor in. It might not be so easy for me to get out. But anyway, I am sending the Ka-Spel, the Sympathy portal LPs now. I announced it only yesterday, like I always do. Whenever I get a news, I immediately go on, well, not immediately, but as soon as I possibly can, I go on social media and announce the arrival of said release. And yet again, within 1 day of my doing that, I've got people, I've had at least 3 people saying, is my order on the way? Or have you shipped it yet? Or whatever. And God, give me a fucking chance, please. Jeez. They arrived yesterday morning. I was working yesterday as well, and I managed to pack a number of them, and I managed to post them from the, get them to the post office. I've got a number of other pre-orders to sort of contend with. I've had a few more orders arrive since as well, and I'll work my way through them as I normally do, and that means doing as many as I can each day, and only getting a pile of packages to the post office each day. I'm not going with all of them because it would just be too many, and especially if I've got to get there by public transport, as I might have to today. So no, I can only carry so many, and I've said this before, but I don't want to be that person who's holding up loads of people in the bloody post office. So I always go with a certain amount, maximum 15 to 20 packages maximum, and I try to keep to 10 to 15. So unless it's CDs, they're more manageable, and if they're all to the same destination, Europe, for example, or similar destination, I should say, then it's very quick and easy for the person at the post office to deal with them. But when I've got lots of different size packages and everything else, and packages of different weights and different destinations, I keep it to a manageable amount. And last week I was dealing with sending another pile of Andrew Lyle's LPs, and I only had about 8 packages, and already I could feel the weight of a cube forming behind me. There were about 3 people that I was holding up for 10 minutes, and there was lots of huffing and puffing and shuffling of feet, and I don't like it. So I feel like telling those people to fuck off, but I'm not going to do that, am I? So yeah, and I go to the post office pretty much daily, so it wouldn't be in my interest to tell other customers to fuck off either. So, but that's what I feel like doing. But no, instead of doing that, being English, an Englishman in Velichka, I reference to a crap song there. I try and be polite. So keep all the bloody dark and bad stuff in my head. so even wear a mask of civility. So that's the English way. But anyway, if you're interested in getting a copy of the Edward Ka-Spel LP, please follow the link below. There's still some deals in the shop until the end of this week. Maybe they'll run over until next week, but they're definitely going to be removed between this weekend and the following weekend. So make the most of it. If you're interested in getting 4 CDs for £14, a bloody bargain. And 2 vinyl releases from the back catalogues of each of my labels for £24 plus shipping, I think. Then take advantage. Lots of other things are reduced in the shop as well. I would love it if a few more orders came in, because I'll be looking at a huge bill for the Edward Ka-Spel LP fairly soon. In other news, keep your orders coming, please. In other news, I've been working more on the Grim Humour book, the 3rd volume of the Grim Humour book. I need to dedicate a couple of hours to Nick Mott's art book and text, which I thought I'd have this week or even last week, but I just couldn't because my daughter was off sick, and it's always the way. Every time it looks like I've got a clearing in my workload, something like that happens. So there we are. And the same this week. Daughter's still at home, doesn't go back to kindergarten till Thursday, and I'm not going to have a chance to do much beyond what I'm doing at the moment, packing orders, and maybe I'll be able to write a little more of or put a bit more of the Grim Humour book together. And I've got lots of stuff to review. Haven't had a chance. Some of it's been sat there for a good couple of months. So Nick Mott, I hope I'll have a chance later this week to deal with that, and his LP, which I hope will be ready to go into production next week. That's the Nick Mott LP entry in the Elite Editions series. And I've said this many times before, but that is a play on that. The name of this series is a play on these kind of boutique mentality labels, or the mentality of these boutique labels, with their micro editions and high prices, overinflated prices, all the rest of it. A couple of people have complained about the price of my series of LPs, and somebody even wrote to me today and said he thought the series comprised of double LPs. I don't know how much this person thinks 6 double LPs would cost, but it wouldn't be £195. Believe me. And I think people overlook the fact if you're only doing 150 LPs, economically they don't make sense because you need a minimum run of 300, like the Edward Ka-Spel, to start making things viable, or hoping that they'll be viable. 150 are 150 LPs or any vinyl pressing are bloody expensive. They're more expensive than and you know, higher per unit, have a higher cost per unit than if I did 300 or 500 or 1,000. You know, the days of 1,000 are long gone, you know. But in most cases, you know. Yeah, if you do lower quantity releases, then they're going to be higher priced. So, and I thought I kept the price fairly affordable. Plus, I did, you know, 3 ways of, you know, making the Elite Editions series available as well. You didn't have to pay outright, you know, £195 to subscribe. There were 2 other options as well. So anyway, Nick Mott will be the next one. So already I think we can sense that there's a delay in operations with the series. If Nick Mott isn't ready next week, I might have to jump ahead with the reverse image. It doesn't really make any difference. I think the reverse is pretty much ready to go as well. But the Base Communion one is as well. But I want Base Communion to be the 3rd. So if Nick Mott is not ready next week with his LP, he'll have to be the 4th. He'll be pushed back to the 4th place. So yeah. Anyway, the Elite Editions thing is one thing. The other thing is the Morality CD. Excuse me. Morality double CD, the Broken Flag reissue. I think there should be news on that next week. So the first week of February. We've had all the soft proofs and everything else to check. Everything looks like it's in order. We haven't had the label soft proofs yet though, so that's a bit disconcerting. But yeah, we should have news on the double CD next week, and then I'll once that is on its way to me, I'll proceed with the Tungu and Tabata CD, and then there are a few other CDs lined up. But again, I tend to wait until I know one of them's coming to me, and then the next one goes into production. You know, I'm not rich, so I can't put lots of things into production at the same time. I need cash flow. So, but if you're interested in ordering the Morality double CD, then get in as well. It's also going to be limited, 500. Many of those will go to the artists and my distributor, my main distributor in London, and various other outlets. And I think I've already pre-sold 70 copies, maybe. So don't hang around. They're not going to hang around for too long. They'll be like Never Say When. And also, Never Say When, whilst I'm referring to that double LP version that has been spoken about will appear... no, sorry, it won't appear. It will go into production also during the next couple of weeks. So I just wanted to get the Edward Ka-Spel out of the way, including the shipping of orders and, you know, and dealing with the distributors and everything else. Then I can get into the right headspace to deal with Never Say When. It is up for... it's available to pre-order now, but I don't think it will take that long to manufacture once we've got it up and running with production. So I will ensure that is all with Steve Pittis next week, and I think we'll be looking at test pressings arriving in March, and I think I said it will be a spring release. Although I was initially thinking of April, maybe even May. So if we get test pressings sometime during March, mid to late March, and they're approved, by Gary and Puppy and myself, then we're up and running. Yeah, and then it usually takes five to 6 weeks to manufacture if there aren't any hitches, and usually there are hitches. Usually an artwork problem is found at the last, in the final stage or near the final stage. I think that's a recurring problem, or even an artwork problem or a template problem or both, or we resolve the artwork problem and then it transpires the template's changed and then we're back to square one. That happened with Edward Ka-Spel. So yeah, so the shit that goes on behind the scenes, when there are delays with these releases, I think people are just thinking, yeah, here we go again, another excuse. No, there's a genuine reason. So, it's all legit, and I don't bullshit either. So, if there's a delay because of artwork issues, then that's what it is, and that's what I say. I'm not going to do any shout outs today. No. So yeah, thinking about CDs, I'm contemplating an Andrew Payne album as well in my CD series on Fourth Dimension. So he wrote to me on Sunday. I haven't had a chance to reply to him yet. But Andrew Payne is an English musician, I think, if I remember correctly. And he's been working away on various forms of music for a long time, but very low profile. But I think it would be nice to see him served by something a little more formidable. And I really like what he last sent me. So yeah, I'm thinking of that. So I've mentioned Never Say When. I've mentioned the books, Nick Mott and Grim Humour. What else? Tungu Tabata CD, Sion Orgon CD, The Fields of Hay CD. There's also, I just realised last week, there's a Tabata and Incapacitants live CD or double CD collaboration in the wings as well. Completely overlooked it. We last discussed it in October, I think, and I'm still on board with that happening as well. The only thing that I don't like about this live collaboration, as much as I like Tabata's work and Incapacitants, I recall that the live double CD is maxed. It's well over 60 minutes, almost 70 minutes per disc, and I think I already mooted the idea to Tabata and said, can we have some edits, and I don't usually get involved in people's own work. I think it's not really my place. If I want to put something out, it should be exactly as the artist wants. But it's a little too much. So, especially for a live album. Live albums are not my favourite either. So that's also another bugbear. I've even sold most of my bootlegs because I just don't play them. Never listened to them. Listened to them a few times when I bought them and then just filed away, and they've just gathered dust ever since. So, nah. I might still have a Joy Division or a Public Image one hanging on here, maybe even a Cure one as well. But yeah, maybe about 10 or 20 of them. But nah, and live albums generally are not my. Even when they're professionally recorded. I don't like them that much. So, and again, I did the Faust one, and it's good. It's a great document, and that was something I had a hand in organising, the actual concert, but in Krakow. But nah, generally I don't listen to live music. I avoid it. When somebody sends me a live recording, on CD or vinyl, it usually gets pushed to the back of the pile. So there we are. Anyway, I think I'm rambling for the bloody sake of it, really. I've done 20 minutes of this shit, and it's a Tuesday morning. I don't usually do these in the morning either. I usually do them in the afternoon. It's pretty dark here, isn't it? That side. So, yeah, got a light, but it doesn't really help unless I put the main light on. Yeah, so there we are. I think I'll leave it. Buy the Edward Ka-Spel LP, the Sympathy portal, and put a pre-order in for the Morality double CD, or take out the 7 CD deal, in which case you'll get that and the upcoming titles by Sion Orgon, The Fields of Hay. There's an Andrew Lyles one coming at some point as well on Lumberton. So, it's always worth taking out this 7 CD deal. But again, I may have mentioned this last time. I might stop these deals fairly soon and replace them with something. I might just restructure things. So get in fast if you want to take out the 7 CD deal, because it might go in the near enough future. Maybe next month I'll have time to look into it. But anyway, enough of this. If you heard any music in the background, it was the Edward Ka-Spel LP. And I'll be back here soon enough, most likely. I better get back to packing orders. Cheers. See you again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.